Was he inspired by the Saw Hello? Was he inspired by the Saw movies to torture his victim? Hello, true crimerers. This is the case of Richard Hamilton. Viewer discretion is advised. Richard Hamilton was living in a homeless shelter in London, England. He was a former soldier. At the time of this case, he's 45 years old. He is battling issues with addiction, and unfortunately, he had to be living there at the same time as this man. This is 25-year-old Matthew Tinling. He is an avid user of illegal substances and also homeless. Well, Matthew Tinling was hard up for money, and he needed cash to buy some stuff, substances. And he was desperate. He knew that Richard Hamilton had his debit card on him, didn't know how much money he had, but he decided, I'm going to attack him and I'm going to get his money. So he takes out a knife and he stabs Richard Hamilton not once or twice, but 17 times, all in an attempt to get his money, but also the PIN number to his bank card. After the 17 stabs, Richard Hamilton was still alive. And this is where the Saw movies come in. Allegedly, Matthew Tinling was then inspired by some trap in the Saw franchise to slowly cut down his spine and I guess cut his spinal cord to torture him until he finally gave the PIN number. And he very slowly, methodically, and very painfully for Richard Hamilton tortured him until he got what he wanted. Tinling is then seen going back and forth in the homeless center with bags, and he's constantly throwing things away. He was then caught on CCTV withdrawing 240 pounds from an ATM, which was his bank account. The gruesome crime scene was discovered and eventually his body was found. There was enough DNA evidence and plenty of evidence to show that he did this. When police searched Matthew Tinling's room, they found a DVD copy of Saw 6. It was in the DVD player. He had just watched it. According to the prosecution, they said that he was inspired by torture scenes from this film, which was released in 2009, to carry out the attack he did on 45-year-old Richard Hamilton. There isn't a torture in this particular movie that involves a spine. There is kind of one in Saw 4, so I don't know where they pulled this from. Like, there was a trap connected to a guy's spine, but I don't even think it was used. But he was arrested and charged with the murder. The judge said to him, "You inflicted 17 wounds during the attack, the most serious of which was delivered specifically with the intention of severing the spinal cord, thus to cause paralysis and death, just as you saw on the DVD." He was convicted and sentenced to 30 years. He had more time added on because he later stabbed an inmate and a guard who survived.